The entertainment world has been rocked by heartbreaking news. Malcolm-Jamal Warner, best known for his role as Theo on The Cosby Show, has passed away. His sudden death left fans across the globe stunned and deeply saddened. He was more than just a character on TV. He was someone who brought comfort, joy, and warmth into our homes for years. Now, he's gone, and the silence he left behind is deafening. When the news broke, it felt unreal. For many, it was like losing a childhood friend. Malcolm wasn't just an actor, he was part of our lives. His laugh, his presence, the way he brought Theo to life, it all felt so genuine. And for PHYLICIA Rashad, the actress who played his mother on the show, this loss was more than devastating. It broke her spirit in a way no one expected. PHYLICIA was in her home when she heard what had happened. She didn't speak. She didn't move. She just fell to the floor, clutching a gold chain Malcolm had given her in 1988 during a break on set. She sobbed uncontrollably, whispering, "No, not my baby. Not my Theo." Those words echoed far beyond her living room. They touched everyone who had ever watched the show. For PHYLICIA, this wasn't a performance. This wasn't a script. It was real pain. She had raised him on set. She watched him grow up before her eyes. She mentored him, comforted him, and supported him long after the cameras stopped rolling. Their bond had nothing to do with fiction. It was genuine love. Soon after, a voicemail left by Malcolm was discovered. It was the kind of message that makes your heart stop. In his own voice, he said, "Mom, if I don't wake up one day, just know you were my only light in the dark." That message played in a room full of people, and no one could speak. Even the most experienced crew members were frozen in disbelief. People cried openly, holding one another, unable to process what they were hearing. It didn't feel like a typical celebrity death. It felt like the end of something much deeper. For many, The Cosby Show was a symbol of unity, humor, and comfort. It was a piece of their childhood. Now, all of that felt distant. Online, fans began sharing clips of Theo hugging his TV mom. Every scene felt heavier now. Each hug, each smile, each family moment, it all seemed like a farewell we never expected. Across social media, the same phrase kept showing up: "Please God, not our Theo." That phrase wasn't just words. It was grief pouring out from people who had grown up with him. It's the kind of sorrow that doesn't fade quickly, the kind that stays with you, deep in your bones. Strangers were crying together. People who had never met were bonding over this loss. Because to millions, Malcolm wasn't just a character, he was family. And now, the space he once filled feels cold and empty. PHYLICIA Rashad, often called America's mom, was hit the hardest. Her grace, her strength, and her elegance had always been admired. But after hearing the news that Malcolm's body had been found in Costa Rica, something in her changed. She collapsed, screaming in agony. Her cries weren't just emotional. They were filled with a deep, personal ache. She didn't just weep. She shouted, "Not my baby, not my Theo," over and over again. She wasn't pretending. This wasn't for a camera. This was a mother in mourning. She had loved him like her own son. She had been there for his highs and lows, his struggles and successes. And now he was gone, back inside her home. She gripped the gold chain tighter than ever. That small piece of jewelry was all she had left of him physically. When producers arrived to check on her, they found her curled up on the carpet, quietly repeating, "Give me back my child. Please, just give me back my boy." The TV was playing reruns of The Cosby Show. One episode, in particular, featured a heartfelt scene between Theo and Claire, where she tells him, "I love you no matter what." As that line played, PHYLICIA whispered those words to the air, as though speaking to someone who was no longer there. Her voice trembled, and the pain in her face told the story. Then another message from Malcolm surfaced. This one had been left on his phone just days before his death. "Mom, if I don't wake up, know you were my strength. You were the reason I kept going when I didn't want to anymore. That recording was played for the production team. No one could hold back the tears. Even those who had worked in the industry for decades stepped outside to gather themselves. Outside her home, fans began gathering. They brought candles, flowers, pictures, and handwritten notes. Many came just to stand quietly, offering their support. One woman, holding her young son, said, "I named him after Theo." Her voice cracked as she spoke. The moment felt surreal. Within the hour, #NotMyTheo was trending across the internet. People from all over the world were sharing their memories of Malcolm. Some posted old interviews, while others edited clips with soft piano music, capturing his kind heart and infectious laugh. One user wrote, "My parents split when I was 9. Theo was my only sense of family." Another post read, "This hurts like I lost a part of myself." Phylicia remained quiet. She refused food. She wouldn't sleep. Grief counselors visited, but nothing helped. She sat in silence, repeating to herself, "He was my boy." Not in name, but in love. Her words pierced everyone who heard them. No one questioned the depth of their connection. At a reunion years earlier, Malcolm had leaned in and whispered to her, "You saved me." She had smiled, kissed his forehead, and replied, "You saved me right back." That exchange, once private, now took on new meaning. Footage surfaced of Phylicia whispering to him after a tough shoot, "You're doing great. Baby, I'm proud of you." Millions watched that clip. Everyone could see how deep their relationship truly ran. This wasn't just a passing moment. It was the morning of an entire chapter of television history, a piece of our culture, a space many found comfort in growing up. And now, it felt like that space was gone. Then something unexpected happened. A former Cosby Show writer shared a message that shifted everything. He posted, "Malcolm once told me, if I ever die young, just know, I wasn't running. I was just tired of hiding the weight." That quote lit a spark online. It was shared thousands of times. People started opening up about their own struggles. Mental health advocates, celebrities, and fans all posted under #tired of hiding the weight. The pain behind Malcolm's smile had been invisible for so long. Now, people were beginning to see just how much he had carried silently. 3 days after the news, Phylicia requested a quiet memorial. No reporters, no cameras, just the people who knew him behind the scenes. The small chapel was dimly lit. Castmates, crew members, old friends all gathered in silence. Kishia Knight Pulliam cried quietly in a corner. Sabrina Leboeuf held a black and white picture from the early days of the show. Even camera operators, lighting staff, and makeup artists came. Everyone who had worked on the show knew this wasn't just a death. It was a goodbye to someone who had touched their lives in a real way. When Phylicia stepped forward to speak, she held a letter from Malcolm, written in 2014. Her hand shook as she read, "Mom, if life ever becomes too heavy, just know you were my anchor. Even when I couldn't breathe, your love kept me afloat." She paused, looked up, and asked through tears, "Why didn't I see it? Why couldn't I stop him?" No one spoke until a voice in the back quietly said, "Because he hid it too well, just like he hid behind that smile." That sentence broke everyone in the room. The sadness turned into guilt. They hadn't just lost him, they had missed the signs. They played one final voicemail, recorded just hours before Malcolm passed. His voice was calm but filled with sorrow. "To anyone who ever believed in Theo, thank you. But I never truly knew how to feel okay. I smiled for everyone, but inside, I was screaming. I hope someday, people will understand." When the recording ended, Phylicia dropped to her knees and cried out, "Please come back." I didn't get to say goodbye. The entire room gathered around her, forming a circle, a family, once full of laughter, now holding each other through tears. The next morning, television networks started pulling Cosby Show reruns to honor the cast's grief. But fans pushed back. They flooded the internet with clips, interviews, outtakes, anything that captured Malcolm's spirit. One 2007 interview surfaced where he said, "I've always played the funny son, the strong one, but I wish people knew how hard it was to smile sometimes." That quote took over the internet. It was printed on candles, t-shirts, murals. PHYLICIA reposted it with her own caption, "He was smiling. I just wish I'd looked closer." 2 days later, crowds gathered outside the original Cosby Show studio in Brooklyn. Flowers covered the steps, teddy bears, letters, DVDs, photos all left as tributes. Someone had written in chalk, "Theo was all of us, now part of us is gone." Then, a message appeared online that no one expected. A tweet from Bill Cosby read, "I may be behind bars, but hearing of Malcolm's passing, I haven't cried this hard in years. He was the best of us, the one who stayed kind. And now he's gone." Whatever people thought of Cosby, the sadness in those words was real. Later, it was revealed that Malcolm's ashes would be scattered in the waters off Costa Rica, the very place where he took his last breath. Fans from around the world planned a candlelight vigil at the beach. It wasn't just for those who watched the show. It was for anyone who had ever felt alone and found comfort in his smile. On the night of July 28th, hundreds stood quietly on the shore. Each person held a candle, facing the waves. PHYLICIA walked forward, holding a single white flower. She knelt, placed it in the water, and whispered something soft only the ocean could hear. "Malcolm-Jamal Warner may be gone, but the love he gave the world will never fade. He was more than Theo. He was light in dark places, a reminder that kindness matters, and proof that even those who seem strong can carry pain. We'll never forget him. Rest peacefully, Malcolm. We weren't ready to say goodbye." And that's the heartbreaking truth behind the loss of Malcolm-Jamal Warner, our beloved Theo. This wasn't just about losing an actor. This was about losing someone who brought light, laughter, and love into our lives. For decades, he was more than a character, he was family. And now, the silence he leaves behind speaks louder than words. If this story touched you, please take a moment to reflect, to reach out to someone, or even just to be kind today, because sometimes, the ones who seem the happiest are the ones hiding the most pain. Let us honor Malcolm not just with tears, but by remembering what he stood for: joy, compassion, and connection. Share your memories in the comments. Let the world know what Theo meant to you. Light a candle, hug your loved ones, and never take a single day for granted. If you grew up watching him, if his smile ever gave you comfort, let that memory live on. Rest in peace, Malcolm. You were never just a role. You were a piece of our hearts. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this tribute because his story deserves to be heard. Until next time, take care of each other.